Welcome to the Bay Coffee Lab. I'm Kai.
I'm Eric.
I'm Maddie.
And I'm Audrey.
The biological material we chose to test was coffee beans. This is relevant to our society because millions of people across America consume coffee every day.
The size of the coffee grounds as well as the consistency of the size of the coffee grounds has the ability to affect the taste of the coffee. A more consistent grind of coffee will lead to a more consistent flavor.
The bulk density of coffee is important when packaging to ensure that the right amount of coffee goes into a bag every time it gets packaged on the assembly line.
Water content is also an important property because that's the amount of water that is in the coffee bean, which is very important for the packaging of the coffee beans so that they don't rot during the process.
The first property we tested was size. Size is the dimensions of an object, or in other words, how big it is. Size can be measured in several different units. The SI unit is meters. Other examples are millimeters, centimeters, feet, inches, and for this test, we used millimeters. Size can be measured several different ways, using calipers, a ruler, or in our case, a RovoTap sieve shaker.
So the first step in our procedure was to grind the unground coffee beans. We borrowed a coffee grinder from the graduate office. We then measured out 50 grams of each type of the different coffee grounds, both the pre-ground and the coffee we ground ourselves. After we got to the sieve machine, we took an initial mass of each sieve and made sure that they were completely clean of other materials that were previously used in the machine. We then used this sieve machine to sieve the pre-ground coffee grounds to get a particle size distribution and measure the size of the different grounds within our samples. After running the sieve machine, we took the mass of each sieve again while they were containing the ground coffee. We repeated the sieving process with the self-ground coffee and obtained the final mass of each sieve.
The second property we tested was maximum stress. Maximum stress is the force it'll take over a specified area to cause the object to rupture. The units of this property are newtons over millimeters. The maximum stress is tested using a universal testing machine and just a force plate is applied down on the object.
We chose a coffee bean that looked average and similar to all the other coffee beans. Next, we measured the major diameter, the minor diameter, and the intermediate diameter. And then we applied a rupture test to the coffee.
Our results show that pre-ground coffee is more consistent in size than self-ground coffee. Additionally, the particle size of the pre-ground coffee is on average smaller than the self-ground coffee. The self-ground coffee has a wider range of particle sizes, whereas the pre-ground coffee has a more consistent distribution of particle sizes, as shown by the geometric standard deviation. Because the pre-ground coffee has a more consistent particle size, the coffee will result in a better flavor. This is because the smaller the particle size is, the larger the surface area size will be per unit of coffee, and thus will increase the overall surface area of the grounds coming into contact with the water. In an attempt to have a self-ground coffee that has a more consistent flavor, one could invest in a higher quality coffee bean grinder or grind their coffee for a longer period of time. The maximum stress of the average coffee bean is 0.12 newtons per millimeter. This information can be helpful when selecting a coffee grinder.
As discussed before, research has shown that coffee will result in a better flavor if there is a more consistent distribution of coffee ground particle sizes. The overall problem that we are attempting to solve is deciding if pre-ground coffee or self-ground coffee will result in a better flavor. Per our results, we recommend to use pre-ground coffee since it results in a more consistent particle size distribution. We determine this by testing the sizes of the coffee ground particles and by testing the amount of force it will take before a coffee bean will rupture. As stated before, if self-ground coffee is preferred, the maximum stress of the coffee bean should be taken into consideration when selecting a coffee grinder.